welcome back to Project Seawolf. It is now late summer and I am so stoked to continue working on this project. Last time we did a mega overhaul of the foredeck where we got rid of the rotten coring and replaced it with fiberglass, and that pretty much broke the bank in 3 days of work. So yeah, huge project last time. Today we're gonna be cleaning up that a little bit. We're gonna be taking out the screws that were holding the layers together and filling those with thickened epoxy if I have enough epoxy left. And I'm really gonna push to be able to get the boat in the water next summer. Really hoping for that. Let's get to it. All right, here we are at the foredeck. The brand new fiberglass. Definitely some spots I'm gonna have to fill in a little bit more. There's a little divot here, some divots in where the screws to the bowsprit were. It's gonna take some thickened epoxy, and then this edge and these edges all sand and put on a new gel coat and finish all that once these holes are filled. So next episode we'll sand and put a new gel coat on. Oh no. All right, most of the screws came out, but for the two that didn't, I've got these tiny little hole saws that I'm gonna use to take them out, extract them. They're probably gonna be about the same amount of thickened epoxy to fill the hole, so I'm not too worried about it. But handy to have these around if you don't have any tiny hole saws. It worked! Aha! It worked! Uh-oh. Oh, I thought there were storm clouds. No, it's just solid blue sky. You know, living in Washington, you don't ever see blue sky, so you get suspicious whenever it's one solid color. For these vertical storage areas, I'm sick of looking at these big holes in the main cabin, and I just want to fix them now. So for these, I'm thinking of putting tabs of Divinity foam, the thinnest Divinity foam I have, laminating it with fiberglass, and then putting it around the edges so that there's an edge. And then I have the squares that go in here, solid fiberglass. So I'll cut a hole in the middle for a finger hole, and I'll put magnets in the top corners and in a hinge at the bottom. And I'm hoping that's going to be strong enough to withstand any people knocking against the back of it. I mean, of course, my kids are probably going to break one, but hopefully not. Hopefully I'll make it strong enough in a way that it won't rattle, because I also hate rattling on a boat. If I need to, I'll put some like foam strips to help keep it from rattling. But yeah, hopefully we can fix all these holes. Alright, so I have the panels all sanded nice and the edges of the holes all sanded nice. I've also cut out the Divinity foam strips that will be there, so it'll create a nice solid backing for people to lay back into. There's going to be a cushion here that's going to distribute the weight more, but it's nice to have this be pretty solid. All right, I'm gonna create some thickened epoxy and then drizzle it along the edges. And so that should seal those up there for fiberglassing later. And also I'm going to fill in, I'm going to secure that in there and put some fiberglass on there as well. All right, everything is secure now. The tabs now have all thickened epoxy along the edges. And this is fiberglassed on, layer of fiberglass. I know it's clear. All right, we're back on the boat. It's been almost 2 weeks since I've been on here. Originally, I was gonna have this be a separate episode, but I think we got so little done last time, I'd like to have this all be one episode. So this sealed up pretty good. I'm just gonna sand it and then it'll be ready to paint, and then I'll do the other side. Again, I'm gonna have to grind and sand this tape that got resined in. So that's one thing. We're gonna take off the clamps and we're gonna start laying fiberglass on here. I know I could have fiberglassed the DiviniSelf first, but I wanted to do it this way anyway. So I'm just gonna do it this way. But if you were doing it, perhaps consider fiberglassing the DiviniSelf first and then gluing it on. Be easier, probably. And then I realized that I have another thru-hull right here above the waterline. So I would like to get that done today as well. Just so we can say we've done all the thru-hulls, for sure. Oof, I'm gonna fill that bolt hole from the old external as well. So we got our work cut out for us today. And one more thing before we get started. For the month of September and October 2024, when this video is coming out, I'm giving away artist prints that I made, hand-pressed, hand-aligned, hand-inked. So every single one's different to every patron on Patreon. So if you join the Patreon for $5 a month, not only are you going to receive a t-shirt from me, the ProjectSeawolf t-shirt, but also you'll receive a artist print as a thank you. So thank you to all my supporters and everybody on the Patreon. You're making this project a lot more affordable. So thank you. Let's get to work. All right, surfaces are mostly prepped. I'm not too worried about these surfaces. I'm just gonna try to put fiberglass in here and wrap it, create this tab here. And here, again, not too worried. I'm just plugging up this existing hole. And but here, I did actually do quite a bit of prep and beveled out the hole so that the fiberglass has a lot to hold on to, because that's part of the hull. So I want that to be pretty solid. Great, now it's epoxy time. All right, just give me a sec to explain my process here. So I've pressed this chop strand against the DiviniFoam, which is thickened epoxy on. The DiviniFoam extends past the edges and is well secured on these sides. And so I've taken chop strand and pressed it against everywhere there's DiviniFoam and overlap. And then because fiberglass doesn't like corners, I can't just roll this over the corner. I'm gonna come back next time and cut off these, trim these ends and put thickened epoxy along the seam, and that'll create a nice roll. Just little details, probably don't even have to do that, but I want to do it anyway. And then yeah, and then sand and paint it, and you won't be able to tell it wasn't always part of the boat. So now I'm gonna do it for all these holes. All right, so now all the Divinity foam has some shop strand on it, or at least one layer, on front and back. So next time we're gonna come back and trim the extra and then put some thickened epoxy in the middle, and that'll make a nice platform so that we can install these covers, make them cabinets. Also, this is looking pretty good. Glass thru-hull. And with the extra epoxy and fiberglass, I've been able to do some more work on these plugs here, at least on the back sides as well. And up on the bowsprit, I've filled in some of the crevices so that when we come back and grind this flat to get ready to seal it for the fall and winter, because it rains a ton here, and also to protect the fiberglass from UV damage. Yeah, it'll be ready for that. Well, thanks for watching. Another productive day on the boat, another productive 2 days, I guess, in this episode. And we got a pretty clear path to keep going on this on these projects. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode.